Moms and dads, boys and girls, the Common Colt Podcast is back. A Colts podcast made by Colts fans who just tell it how it is. I'm Josh Hudgens, and with me is my co-host, Dan Hertzler. How's it going, sir?
Oh, man, good to be back. Good to be here. And again, another big week for Colts fans out there. They got the ugly, the smelly, the disgusting Tennessee Titans. No one likes those boys down there. They're probably still celebrating the Vols victory. They don't even know an NFL game's coming up this Sunday. We're ready to go, baby.
Yeah, this is a big game, and the Colts are actually underdogs in this game by 2.5 points. I'm not much of a betting man. I know you're not either, but it is interesting to kind of take that into consideration. Do you think this is fair? Should the Colts be underdogs heading into this game?
Yeah, whether you bet or not, the spread gives us a good picture of kind of what the national perspective is, at least from Vegas, what they think of the Colts. And most times they say that the home team gets an automatic 3 points. So you're looking here with the Colts being, the spread anywhere from 2.5 to 3. That's pretty much a pick'em game, which is very interesting to me because, 2 weeks ago, the Colts played, the Broncos on that, throw up embarrassment. Nobody wanted to watch Thursday night game.
That was ugly.
And now after a pretty good game against the Jaguars, the national perspective is pretty positive on the Colts. I'm excited for this game because I think some of the things that the Colts do well, the Titans don't do good. And I'm just curious, Josh, what are your thoughts? How do you think the Colts can actually win this game?
Well, I think that we have the better quarterback, and I think with the better passing game. And I know you have some stats you're going to talk about, but overall, I think that if the Colts can throw the ball this game, like halfway close to what they did last week, they could steal this thing. Now, the biggest question is the running game. They ran the ball on us, at least for a half last time, and we could not run the ball against them. So Jonathan Taylor, that's a question mark. Can we run the ball at all? That's going to be a big question mark. But I actually do have the Colts winning this game as long as they don't start slow like last time. Remember, they had a really slow start last time they played the Titans. You can't have that happen on the road.
Yeah, to me, this is one of these games where the Colts just need to buy into their new identity. I know a lot of Colts fans don't like this. I know, we talk about Matt Ryan and we try to pump him up. At least I do, because I think he's been playing really well lately. Some of the Colts fans don't like that. But, hey, we just got to look at facts right now. And the facts are the Colts have the 5th most passing yards in the entire league right now. The Tennessee Titans defense is ranked 32nd in pass defense. Their run defense is really good. We're not running very good. So how stubborn does Frank Reich want to be? How stubborn does he want to just keep going to run, pass? Or does he look at what happened last week? Maybe not 60 times. I'm not getting crazy here. That's a lot of pass attempts. But I'm looking at 40, 45 pass attempts. I'm looking at some no huddle. I'm looking at some up tempo. I'm looking at putting the ball in Matt Ryan's hands and trusting in him. The big difference between these two teams, and it came back the first time they played, is turnovers. The Colts had 11 so far in the season. I think the Titans have 5 or 6, so almost half the number that the Colts have.
Yeah.
Colts don't turn the ball over. They trust Matt Ryan. They're going to win this game. I don't think the Tennessee Titans are a very good team.
Yeah, it's interesting. And kind of looking at a broader thing for the Colts, and this topic of this episode are the Colts contenders, and we're going to kind of get to that. Right now, they're 3-2-1 heading into this game, which I have circled as a must-win game. Overall, I've got the Colts going to finish the season at 10-6-1. They got some tough games left on the schedule, but a win over the Titans and Commanders back-to-back weeks, all of a sudden you put yourself in a decent spot. I know we don't want to go through every game and because the NFL is so hard to predict, but how are you feeling about this Colts schedule overall, especially if we can somehow get through this Titans game with a win?
Yeah, you said the one thing, like you got to be really careful in the NFL because it changes from week to week, and it's kind of a wild thing. One injury, one guy coming back, a team getting hot can change everything. So if you really just focus in on the next 4 games, you've got the Titans, the Commanders, the Patriots, and the Raiders. Those are 4 games that the Colts can win. They don't even have to play out of their mind. We're not talking about playing the Chiefs. We're not talking about playing some of the big dogs out there right now. Yeah. Those 4 games, they're not easy gimmies. The Colts aren't that good. but they're games that the Colts can win. And if they go 3-4 out of the next 4, and I agree with you, I think the Titans is a must-win. That's a game they can't lose. But if they can win 3 of the next 4, you're sitting there at 6-3-1, and you're sitting at a really nice schedule, kind of halfway through, almost towards 2/3 of the way through the season, and you put yourself in great position. And you are what your record is. So if you're 6-3-1, you're a contender. And my vote, if we're answering this subject right now, is the Colts are right there to be contenders.
Yeah, it's tough for me to say it because I was so critical of them early in the season. And I will say that they've shuffled around that offensive line and they've had a little more protection. A lot of the mistakes that they were making are also trending down. Think about the blown assignments on the offensive line. Yeah. Guys coming through unblocked. We haven't seen that lately. Another thing, Matt Ryan fumbling the snap. Remember that was a thing the first two games of the season. Just fumbling the snap, like that's gone. That's no longer an issue. Yeah. They're making strides in the right direction. I do still have some concerns. The health of some marquee players. Some of the best player on the offensive side of the ball is hurt. He's a running back and he's got a leg foot issue. That's not good. Your defensive captain, the best player on defense when healthy, is hurt. He's played a quarter and a half maybe, and now we don't really know how he's doing. Your first round draft pick, defensive end from 2 years ago, he's hurt. So the health of this team is a concern to me, and how these guys are going to look when they're back. Taylor hasn't looked great in limited action, and that's not all his fault. But I'm a little concerned. I think this team is a contender, and if some of these guys get back healthy and they play like they should. But yeah, I think they're contenders, but to be real contenders, to actually win some playoff games and be that kind of team, Jonathan Taylor, Shaquille Leonard, Kwity Paye, guys like that are going to have to come back and make a difference.
Yeah, when you use that word contender, I think we're both kind of looking at it and say, can they make the playoffs? Then you look at the word contender and say, can they actually do something in the playoffs? We saw last year in the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals, no one really thought as them in the middle of the season that they were going to be a contender that could win playoff games. And then they got a chance. They got in there. Burrow and Chase got hot, and they're in the Super Bowl. Can the Colts do that? I agree 100% with what you're saying, Josh. They can only do that if their best players come back and start playing like their best players. Matt Ryan playing great. It's not sustainable. I'm sorry. He's just too old. You can't expect Matt Ryan to be the one that's going to win playoff games just by throwing 60 times. He's going to need a running game. He's not going to need the smash game. He's not going to be a game manager. He can be a little bit more than that, but he's not going to be your old gunslinger that's back there and just winning games completely by himself in the playoffs when it gets cold, when everything gets a little tighter, when everything gets a little bit more stressful. He's going to need Jonathan Taylor. They're going to need Leonard. You're going to need your best players to play. But the good news for the Colts fans, the reason why we have hope right now is because they're, after a really bad start, they've got themselves in a position where they can be taken seriously. And I think the NFL is kind of looking at them and saying, hey, this is a team that could win the AFC South, play a home game in the playoffs, and you know what? With the right luck and draws and good games, they can make some damage in the playoffs.
What do you think? This has been a thing with Frank Reich now to start seasons where these teams have started off incredibly flat. And I'm looking at, in games, yes, but seasons, to start seasons, that's all coaching still, right? This has got to be coaching.
He's got to look at what he's doing preseason and before practices and all that stuff. It's not good. And in fact, you even see it in games too. Their first quarters right now in the games are not good. It wasn't good against Jacksonville. It wasn't good against the Titans. They were able to come back against Jacksonville. I don't think they can do that against the Titans. He's got to figure something out. He's got to let go of his pride a little bit and say, I need some help because I'm not doing it in the first quarter.
Yeah, it is interesting, guys. And we got that Frank Reich tracker throughout the season. We've been saying, hey, this seat's getting hotter, and I think it's been cooling down a little bit, but it's certainly not cooled off. The pressure's still on in Indianapolis, and this game against the Titans is a big one this week. The Colts are contenders, but they got to keep winning, and that cures all your problems. That's all we got for the Common Colt Podcast. My name's Josh Hudgens. That's Dan Hertzler. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment what you think the Colts may need to do to adjust in some of these early game situations, really, to not get in such big of holes. And maybe Frank will click on our podcast. Maybe he's a subscriber and he'll check it out. I don't know. But guys, thanks for listening. Until next time, have a great day.